then let's make sure that we are saying to this administration, you do not get to work for the billionaire class, you work for us. And that you cannot take our health care away to fund their tax cuts. That you are not going to take food away from hungry families in this country to fund their tax cuts. And when you say you are going to release the Epstein files, we want to see every single page, because we know who you are working for, and it is not us. And when you won't spend a thin dime to make life easier and more affordable for the American people, you do not have the right to take us into a war with $1 billion price tag a day and take our sons and daughters and put them in jeopardy. You owe us an objective, an explanation, and an exit strategy. We are not here to fund you having us become part of the petro state.
All right.
Because we know clean energy right now is cheap energy. And you know what people can't afford? Their electric bills. And so when you want to come in and build a data center, you pay your fair share. Everything doesn't come back to the people of this country. Because I can tell you, as we travel around our district, as I travel around this country, people just want a little breathing room. They are working hard. They're working hard, and there's no room for them. They don't want a handout from the government. They want the tools to build their success. And what are we seeing instead? $74 billion not sent to invest in us and our schools and our healthcare system and scientific research, to invest in ICE. Right. That's where their priorities are. And we know something else about the history of Natick. That Natick has always celebrated immigrants. That Natick has always realized that our neighbors are part of our strength, not a weakness. And when we travel down, when I traveled to Texas 2 weeks ago, to the Dilley Detention Center, you cannot tell me that the 2-year-old that I saw there, the babies in arms, they are not the worst of the worst. It is the worst of the worst policies to spend our tax dollars incarcerating children in this country. So we are going to stand together. And we are going to vote. We're going to vote on Tuesday, and we're going to keep on voting right through November. But this is where we make the change. The pressure that you're bringing, the power of your voice, is how we change Congress and how we get rid of our wannabe king. Good trouble lives on right here. And one of the privileges of my life was getting to work with John Lewis. And when John Lewis went across that Evan Pettus Bridge as a young man, he saw ahead of him the violence. He saw people who wanted to turn them back. And we all know what happened on Bloody Sunday. And what did those brave marchers do? John Lewis got more neighbors, more people who understood what was at stake, and went back over that bridge. We're on the bridge. We're on the bridge, and we are not going to be turned back. And when we get tired and we get afraid, we're going to call on each other and sing. And every single day, we're going to fight with everything we have. This country is worth it. The future for our children is worth it. Natick is worth it. And all of you deserve it. So let's hear it for our democracy, the power for the people. And now, please, thank you for being here. Thank you so very much. No kings! No kings! No kings! No kings! No kings! No kings! We have last speakers.
are dear friends of mine. I've known them for years. They epitomize what people power, and this is what democracy looks like. The two of them went back in April to shine a light on what's going on in Burlington ICE headquarters. I joined them the next week. There were 6 of us. Now 700 to 900 people come every week to Burlington to bear witness to what ICE is doing. I bring to you Jared and Laurie Berezin.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you for being here, everyone. I want to tell you about someone who was detained at the ICE facility in Burlington. Makengo is a 46-year-old husband and father and has no criminal record. 8 years ago, Makengo and his wife took the brave step to flee violence in Angola and seek asylum in the U.S. They have followed a lawful asylum process, and they live in Maine, where Makengo works at an assisted living facility supporting people with Alzheimer's disease. In January, Makengo's wife went into labor and required an emergency C-section. She gave birth to their 4th child, a baby girl, who would remain in the hospital's neonatal intensive care unit. One day, Makengo left the hospital to go home and get some items for his family. His wife and children would not see him again for 4 weeks. While driving back to the hospital to be with his family, 2 SUVs surrounded Makengo's car. 6 ICE agents got out, pointed their guns at him, shackled him, and put him in a van with 10 other people. They drove him to the Burlington, Mass. ICE facility, where Makengo was imprisoned for 6 days in a crowded cell with 45 other men in a building that is not zoned for overnight detention. At this facility, there are no beds, so he slept on the cold concrete floor. There are no windows or outdoor time, so he never saw daylight. There are no clocks, no showers, no soap, no medicine. Hardly any food or water is provided. The lights are always on, and a single toilet sits exposed in each cell with a video camera mounted above. No visitors are allowed, so Makengo was entirely cut off from his family. Shame! Shame! ICE did not provide Makengo a reason for his abduction or imprisonment. ICE did not give him a court hearing. ICE did not allow him to meet with an attorney. After 6 days in the cruel and inhumane Burlington facility, Makengo was shackled and driven to Plymouth County Correctional. 4 weeks after his abduction, Makengo was finally released on a $2,000 bond. He's now back home with his wife and children, but he has a court hearing in May because ICE remains hell-bent on deporting him. When immigrants like Makengo follow the rules, they are still abducted, detained, and denied their constitutional rights. But when immigration attorneys challenge these illegal detentions in court, ICE loses. Over the past year, 160 judges across 50 courts have ruled in 350 cases that detaining an immigrant living in the U.S. without a hearing is illegal and in violation of their Fifth Amendment rights to due process. Yes. In 350 cases, judges have ruled against ICE, but what are a few hundred cases for an agency that abducts tens of thousands of people who have no legal representation? In Massachusetts, since January 2025, ICE has abducted 6,000 of our neighbors. More than 3,000 people, including more than 100 children, were held in Burlington for 4 to 77 days at a time. As we stand here today, more than 70,000 adults and children are imprisoned in concentration camps across the U.S., and these numbers will only increase. A government agency that violates the Constitution and human rights, that terrorizes our communities, that abducts, imprisons, and murders people should not be allowed to exist in America. Any reforms to ICE will not be enforced and can be undone by a future president, an obedient Congress, and a partisan Supreme Court. ICE must be abolished.